Dear all, today we will be exploring the intricate and often turbulent journey of conflicts as captured in the conflict cycle. The phases we are about to delve into are not merely theoretical constructs, but represent the ebbs and flows of human interaction with profound implication for the well-being of every society and every nation. The first phase of the conflict cycle begins with the latent phase. The latent phase is a period in conflict that is characterized by tensions and issues lying dormant, lying dormant beneath the surface. These are the unspoken grievances like Cold War, the simmering discontent, the disparity in power, the disparity in resources, or some unmet needs that have yet to manifest explicitly. It is a critical stage. The latent phase is a critical phase, but it is often overlooked because the potential for conflict incubates quietly. It's not something that is loud, so it's still at the latent stage. Now, identifying and addressing latent conflicts requires a proactive approach involving open communication, conflict resolution training, and a commitment to addressing systemic issues before they escalate. The second stage is the manifest phase. At this manifest stage, the conflict becomes visible to external observers. Actions and behaviors associated with the conflict become apparent, and what was once latent transforms into a tangible dispute. Verbal altercations, disagreements, physical signs of discord start to emerge, and these demand attention from both parties, directly or indirectly. The manifest phase is a critical point where intervention and mediation effort can be most effective in preventing further escalation. The next stage is the violent phase. That is, at the manifest stage, when conflict has manifested and people have known that there is conflict and it has not been checked, it will now move to the violent phase. This is the stage where dispute turn physical. Aggression becomes a predominant feature in the conflict. Violence, whether on an interpersonal or a societal level, become devastating consequences. It is a stark reminder of the destructive potential of unresolved conflict because at the manifest stage, where conflict has not been resolved, it moves to the violent stage. So the violent stage is a stark reminder of the destructive potential of unresolved, mark the word, unresolved conflict. This phase underlines the urgency of a proactive conflict resolution measures to prevent the loss of lives, property, and livelihood. We move to the escalation phase. The escalation phase is characterized by a rapid intensification of the conflict. What might have started as a localized issue now spread, involving more individuals, involving more groups, or even nations. The stake at the escalation phase are high, and the potential for lasting damage increases exponentially. This phase highlights the interconnectedness of conflict, emphasizing the need for a comprehensive approach that considers both the immediate issue and the broader implications. The next stage in the conflict cycle is the contained phase. Amidst the chaos, amidst the violence, there arises the possibility of containment. What we're saying is that despite the fact that the conflict has gone to the violent stage, there still be possible ability there's possibility of containment. The contained phase represents a concerted effort to limit the scope and the impact of conflict. Interventions at that period, the period of the when you see interventions start coming up, peacekeeping measures and diplomatic initiative that they are started coming up, that you know that is the time the conflict has gone to the contained phase. But they are only trying, they are using intervention, peacekeeping measures, and diplomatic initiative to try to contain the conflict. So intervention, peacekeeping measures, and diplomatic initiative are employed to prevent further escalation. You know, it has been escalated, so further spread of the conflict. We now use intervention, peacekeeping measures, in order to prevent that. So while the conflict persists, I mean to say, efforts are made to prevent it from spreading or causing irreparable harm. So what the contained phase does is to make sure that conflict did not spread or cause more irreparable harm. We now go to the next conflict cycle, which is the mitigated phase. This one built on the containment. Building on containment, the mitigated phase involves active measures to ease tensions and address the root causes of the conflict. This requires a commitment to dialogue, negotiation, and compromise. It is a delicate phase that demands patience. I take that again. This mitigated, you are going to mitigate. So this mitigated stage involves and it demands patience and perseverance, because conflicting parties work towards finding common ground, common solution. So social, political, and economic reforms may be necessary to lay the foundation for lasting peace. It might be necessary, and they are even more necessary. They are necessary for everyone, every mediator, every negotiator that is assisting in the mitigated phase to be able to lay the foundation for lasting peace. The last stage in the conflict cycle is the resolution phase. You need to know that this is even the pinnacle of the conflict cycle. So the pinnacle of this conflict cycle is the resolution phase. Here, at this stage, the efforts of conflict resolution start to bear positive fruit, and a sustainable solution is achieved at that resolution stage. This will involve reconciliation, because you are resolving conflict, and at that time conflict has been resolved, and you now have to reconcile. So this may involve reconciliation. This will involve justice. You have to be just. Justice. What we call transformative justice, and systemic changes to address the underlying issues that spark the conflict. The resolution phase is not merely an end point, but it is the beginning of a new chapter. It is the beginning of a new chapter in conflict resolution, because at that time That resolution phase foster understanding. It will foster cooperation. What we are saying is that at the resolution phase, we are now having, we're not only ending conflict, but we are having a new beginning, understanding one another, there will be cooperation, and we have potential for positive transformation. In understanding and navigating, when you understand and navigating through these phases demand a collective commitment, proactive communication, conflict resolution strategies, and a steadfast dedication to justice and equality. By addressing conflict at these roots and guiding them through constructive phases, we pave the way for a world where differences are embraced and resolution triumph over discord. Thank you once again and best wishes. Thank you all.